Whenever you purchase a complex gadget, it comes alongside with the user's guide, which is your one-stop resource on the procedures for using it and the troubleshooting to do in case something goes wrong. Likewise, for life as well, we need a guidebook. We come into this world hungry and crying. Difficult experiences present themselves first. The wisdom on how to handle them comes later. We will discuss 14 golden rules to enrich your life. We will start with the first one. Install good beliefs. What are beliefs? These are convictions of our intellect about the world around us, about people, about ourselves. These beliefs become the lens through which we view the world. This world is extremely complex. It's like an equation with infinite variables. And that is too much for our brain to process. So our brain creates assumptions which may be correct or less correct or incorrect. And on the basis of those assumptions, we look at the world. Somebody may believe that everybody is out to get me. Somebody may believe if I do good things, then the universe will take my side. Beliefs can be of innumerable kinds. Rationalists, scientists, they accuse religious people that your wisdom is based on a belief system. But the fact is that scientists also are basing their wisdom on beliefs. It's a different set of beliefs. They believe that their senses cannot deceive them, and hence perceptual knowledge cannot be incorrect. While the fact is, our senses also have their limitations. For example, if you look at the skin, it seems to be smooth. But use a microscope and you'll realize it's got tissues and cells. And use an electron microscope, you'll come to the molecules and atoms in it. But scientists have chosen to believe their senses. Others have chosen to create their own beliefs. Whatever be the case, beliefs are such a powerful aspect of your personality that if they are little incorrect, they can literally kill you. As happened with Jen Gilbert. She was a lawn tennis player of national level in the United Kingdom in the 1940s. So what happened was, when she was born, as a 4-year-old, she accompanied her mother to the dental clinic where her mother's tooth was to be extracted. In those days, the medical technology was not so advanced. And in the course of the tooth extraction, her mother passed away. Jen Gilbert thought about it, pondered, contemplated, and solidified the belief in her that going to dentist can be fatal. Subsequently, in her life, she often needed that treatment, but she would flat refuse. And then as a 40-year-old, when the situation became really bad on the insistence of people, she did go to the dentist accompanied by her mentor, her coach, and a pastor. She sat on the dental chair. When the dentist opened his mouth to peer inside, she fainted and passed away. The next day, the London Mail took out an article that 40 years of belief created such a force in her personality that her own intellect switched off the organs and killed her by virtue of her defective belief. That is the power of beliefs. We are going to discuss the importance of beliefs, how they get created, and how we can develop the most empowering beliefs. So, what is the importance of beliefs? The first is, they create the values by which we live. If you believe, sabse bada rupaiya, your whole life will be dedicated towards earning. If you believe that God is the source of all creation, that's where you dedicate your time and energy. And these beliefs, they also limit or enhance our potential. This is the reason behind the rich dad, poor dad theory. One child was born to a rich dad. He grew up in opulence and developed the belief that prosperity is possible in life. And even if adverse circumstances befell him or her, the belief said, never mind, this is a temporary situation, with effort I can overcome it. On the other hand, one child was born to a poor dad. And growing up, he saw all the hardships and penury and developed an inner belief. This is how life is meant to be. And subsequently, despite possessing the talent, did not strive to become prosperous. His potential got limited by his beliefs. This is just like I have told you this story in past years about the elephant trainers in Odisha. I was once in the southern district where close to the Mahendragiri Parvat, where the elephant trainers, they train these pachyderms. And I saw these huge creatures with a rope tied around their leg and the rope hooked to a peg in the ground. That astounded me. I asked the Mahavat that the elephant has such power to yank out a tree and you've tied it to this little wooden peg with a grass rope. He said, Swamiji, it all began in their childhood. When the elephant was an absolute new baby, at that time we tied it, and the baby did not have the ability to yank out the peg. It grew up with that belief. Right now, the peg is wholly insufficient to restrain the elephant, but it doesn't try to do anything about it. Its own belief is holding it back. So what do we know about the beliefs that are holding us all back? The potential is getting affected by it. That is why in the 7 Divine Laws book, I started off with the first divine law, law of infinite potential. All of us have infinite potential because we are little children of God Himself. Now, fourth thing, these beliefs, they can affect our health as well, for better or for worse. One tourist party was going from Chicago to Wisconsin. On the way, the car broke down and they took shelter in a wayside inn where they were given some rations. That inn was in a dilapidated state that made them suspect the sanctity of the rations. So they decided to check it out by feeding the nearby stray dog. Nothing happened to the dog, and that convinced them that the rations are safe. They went in and consumed them, and in 15 minutes they got the news that the dog had died. Now they all sweated. Oh my God, I have ingested poison. I am done for. The ladies started puking and the gents started developing griping pain. 9/11 was phoned up. The ambulance did overtime. Finally, the doctor himself arrived. There are so many patients. He looked at them and said, "Let's study the dog. Where is the dog?" On inquiry, he was told it was thrown into the ditch. And he asked why. They told him, the people on the wayside, that it was hit by a truck and thrown into the ditch. This news was shared with this tourist party. They said, "Oh, in that case, it is all right." They all started getting miraculously cured. So the belief was making them sick, and the belief was curing them. These beliefs are amongst the most powerful aspect of our personality. And where do they come from? We are careful about the food we put into our mouths, about the clothes we wear, and these beliefs that impact all aspects of our life. We need to get to the bottom of it. How do we develop them? Well, some are arrived at through limited experience. Let's say that 3 lawyers cheated you. You developed a belief, all lawyers are cheats. Is the belief correct? Of course not. There are all kinds of lawyers. But based on that limited experience, you created a belief. Now, these happen in the world all the time. Creation by experience. The second kind is through the environment. You grew up in a certain environment. Like, for example, did you choose your religion? Very few people do. They grow up in a religion. They adopt those beliefs. So, some beliefs we pick up through the environment, some through hearsay. 3 of your friends told you, invest in real estate. You will make a killing. We did it. You see, 3 of them have said it. Must be true. That they may have been riding an economic wave, they may have been lucky, but you came to the conclusions 3 of my friends told me. This was how Hitler's minister Goebbels worked. He openly said his philosophy was tell a lie 100 times and it will become the truth. But the Vedas say this is not the way to make your beliefs. There should be a better way to do it. And what is that better way of doing it?